Hello and welcome, I am Arumba, thank you for joining me. Let's play some RimWorld. We're on the Alpha 6 build, and this is actually basically the first time I've ever played the game. Let's generate a world and see what we can do. So, if you've never heard of RimWorld, the simplest way to explain it, really, I think, would just be it's single Z-layer Dwarf Fortress in a more futuristic setting. And I'm very excited to play it because I think that the intent behind the developer is to take a great idea, a great concept, and make it more user-friendly. And that's something I've been asking for years. Now, we have 3 different modes to the game, and then keep in mind this is an alpha, so it's not in a fully completed state, but it's pretty well put together already. So we've got 3 different methods. We've got the AI storyteller. The AI storyteller creates events like pirate raids, resource drops, or animal attacks. Their choices will affect the story of your colony. We've also got we've got the Phoebe base builder. Phoebe gives lots of time between disasters to relax and build your colony, but beware, if she's set at high challenge scale, she'll hit as hard as anyone. And then we've got Randy Random, doesn't follow the rules, he'll generate random events, and he doesn't care if they make a story of triumph or utter hopelessness, it's all drama. So these are not like your characters that you play as. In fact, the personification of these AI settings or difficulty settings is kind of unnecessary, but it looks nice. We'll go with AI Storyteller, just because it makes sense, and we'll play on Rough, which is 60% of normal difficulty. They'll be 60% as large as in Challenge mode. The only reason for that is because I've actually never had a challenge or a raid or whatever happen. I've only played for about an hour or so. Just enough to know the basics. We will use the world we just spawned. So much like Dwarf Fortress, this game generates a random world for you every time anytime you want. Right now, there are a certain number of biomes in the game that are not playable. For instance, the boreal forest biome has not yet been implemented. We can use desert though. The desert biome, the temperate forest biome, the arid shrubland biome are all in-game so far. Tropical rainforest is not. Let's just take something like, say, the temperate forest, and we will choose a slightly larger embark location. Again, you're going to notice quite a few things about the game. Performance may degrade at larger map sizes unless your computer is quite powerful. Well, I think we'll be okay. So there's going to be a lot of features of the game that will heavily remind you of Dwarf Fortress, and that's okay. You know, the comparisons to Dwarf Fortress I think are legitimate, and you'll see what I mean as we go on. Now we start off with 3 colonists, or 3 workers, 3 dwarfs, whatever you want to think of them as, and they have skills. There aren't nearly as many skills in this game as a game like Dwarf Fortress. I'll try to temper back some of the Dwarf Fortress comparisons, but these are the number of skills that are currently implemented. Each character has a backstory and an adulthood, which gives them modifiers to their starting skills. They can have different traits, like, in this case, Fast Walker. Likes to get where he's going, walks faster than most people. And this guy's also neurotic. You can randomize as many times as you want. This little flame icon represents their passion for what they're doing. So notice, like on construction, this character has no passion for it. Passion, none. Learning, 0.3x. So 30% normal learning speed on something he's not passionate about. This one, passion, level 1, learns at normal speed. And then if you have someone who has double flame, they have a burning passion for this skill, and they will learn 1.5 times as fast as normal. So what I think, from a min-max kind of perspective, makes sense is to try to get someone who's passionate about at least every skill, and then ideally someone who's passionate about things that you really need quite a bit of. So let's someone who's super passionate about construction. That sounds good. He's incapable of intellectual, artistic, or plant work. Interesting. So he can't do growing. Well, let's try to find someone who's not incapable of anything. I don't like the idea that the initial starting characters are incapable. This person's triply passionate. That sounds good. Okay. Next character. What were his traits? He's steadfast. Mental break threshold -5. Good. That's basically their happiness. How happy At what point on the happiness scale do they suddenly stop behaving well? I think that these passions coincide pretty well with this, and she is a not incapable of anything. She's a fast walker, and she's sanguine. Naturally upbeat about her situation pretty much all the time. Okay, and then finally for our last character. Yeah, we need someone who's passionate about construction. Having two people passionate about mining I think is fine. This is good. Let's go with these guys. This one does have a few incapabilities, which I believe means that they just can't do certain things. That's okay. The three of you awake in your crypto-sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown RimWorld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall all around you, you start making plans to survive. Okay, so what we need to do first is we are going to claim, right? Think Dwarf Fortress. We're going to unforbid items that have crashed with us and let the dwarves, not dwarves, the colonists use them. We're also going to unforbid the foods. We'll unforbid the weapons and stuff. We've got 3 pistols, and we've got some medical packs, medicines. Now, I'm going to take a quick look at the characters to see which one's best at shooting. You have no skill whatsoever in shooting. Raj has level 3, and Kevin has level 6. So I'm going to go ahead and give Kevin the gun, the rifle, since hopefully he'll be able to do something a little bit useful with that. It's got slightly longer range than a pistol. You still get a pistol, even though you're probably not going to use it. And then what we want to do first is just designate some zones. So we're going to have a stockpile. Place for us to store junk. We're going to have a dumping stockpile, some place to put garbage, whatever kind of garbage we end up with. And we'll want to make a growing zone as well, so that we can grow food. Now, the other thing that we'll want to do is probably, right away, start building a house. Now, this does provide an excellent little guide for like what you need to do. Over here, it'll tell you, like, hey, you should probably build a room. So we'll go to Structure. And we're going to make a wood wall. We could make a log wall, which is usually... It's more of a defensive structure, I think. The wood wall actually has built-in power conduit, so we'll do that. It's 6 wood cost instead of the log wall, which is 8 wood cost. So really the wood wall is what you should build buildings out of. Kevin looks kind of fat. What you think? I mean, he's kind of a fat guy. He's round. He's rotund. We'll call him a rotund Kevin. So DeWald has decided to go and grow. She's growing potatoes. Now, something that I like about this game that I think is really cool is that, notice the mouse cursor. As I move the mouse over in the bottom left corner here, you can see the growth of like a tree. Poplar tree, 64% growth. If you click on it, it'll tell you it'll be fully grown in 6 days of growth. So in 6 calendar days, this will be at 100% growth. If you are also looking here, you can see soil walk speed, 87%. Depending on the type of ground, it affects movement. If you're indoor or if you're, rough stone, walk speed 93. We've got mud, walk speed 52. So like everything is numerically evaluated. Like it has an impact on things, which is really kind of cool. And so, anyway. So the gathering stuff, we've gathered up our silver. There are only a few different types of resources. We've got the silver resource, little use on its own. This metal is mostly used as a commodity currency. We've got metal for building structures, wood for building structures, and then we've got medicine, and finally we've got... Why is it not hovering over that one? Packaged survival meals. So we'll get some growing and stuff, and then let's go ahead and start building our structure. So we're going to build a fairly large initial starting room. Notice the ease of designation. No clunky keyboard interface garbage. Sorry, Dwarf Fortress. Easy to replace things that haven't been built yet. Now we could speed the game up, but I am new to it and I want to take my time. Now as buildings get built, he's putting down the raw material, and then when you click on it, you can see these structures still have work left. And the amount of work is fairly rapidly completed. This is normal game speed. But other structures will have much higher amount of work complete. Like this building here, the wooden doors, significantly more work than a wall. Now this thing, slag chunk. I wonder if that'll be removed automatically. I hope it will be. Yes, you just moved it out of the way. Very good. Good job, Kevin. Fat man Kevin. Now there are trees and plants in our wood-to-be room, so let's go ahead and designate orders, chop wood. Let's chop down any trees that are in there, and let's also cut any plants that are in here. Because they're going to get destroyed anyway. Well, not necessarily destroyed, but we want to live here. Now, there is a thing in here called your home region. This is our home region, and what's really nice is there's this little button down here automatically adding the home region around new constructions. So your home region determines where colonists will repair buildings, clean floors, and extinguish fires. So if you want to, I assume, if there's a fire somewhere, you could undesignate it as a home region and they would just ignore it instead of trying to protect it. Every now and then you'll see the little conversation blip, the little circles, the blurps, or whatever they're called, and that means that the dwarves, or the colonists, are talking, which affects their thoughts. So, had social chat. I just had a good chat with somebody. Now, this is their mood. Her mood is at 94%. Mental break threshold 10%. So the lower her mood gets, if she gets down to 10%, then I'm assuming a tantrum of some sort will happen. I've never had it happen yet, but this character's sanguine, so she'll just automatically always have 15, which, as far as I can tell, means that she'll never drop below 10% unless there is something to really pull her negative. Kevin, on the other hand, this little green indicator, this actually kind of reminds me of The Sims. You know, it's letting you know that it's trending upward. So, had social chat, new colony optimism. We just landed here. It's a tough situation, but I'm excited to be founding a new colony. And then DeWald is, she likes this place. This place is nice. So these are just rock chunks. In order to get more metal, we'll actually have to go and dig these minerals out of the wall. And it sounds like it's raining or something. Where's the weather? No, it's clear. Clear day, no penalty or modifiers. Get to work, slaves. I mean, colonists. Minions. This may not be the best location for a dumping site. Let's remove that. So zone, delete zone. Let's put our dumping zone a little bit further away. Now, just like in other games, you can go into your zones, and for instance, we can tell them to plant different things in the growing zone. In the stockpile, we can allow or disable different types of things. Like this is not a weapon stockpile, this is for resources. Priority determines how important it is to actually do stuff related to the stockpile. So if it was really important to keep, say, weapons in a certain area, we can increase the priority and make them do that. Overall, I have to say the game seems pretty well put together for an alpha. We got wildlife that we could hunt. And we will have random events soon. You have more colonists than you have beds. Someone will lack a place to sleep. Either make more beds or change a prisoner bed to a colonist bed. Well, I'd like to gather these plants first. Actually, did they all just die? Seems to have changed in there. We've nearly finished the structure. Let's go ahead and build a bed. So furniture, bed. Let's get some basic beds in our house. Hopefully before they go to, No, they're eating. Packaged survival meal. Spoils in 4,000 days. Apparently that's like never. Are you really cleaning the dirt, Raj? You're supposed to be doing other things. If we want to, we can go into the overview, and then we can see what skills each character has enabled. So, for instance, Raj is she'll do firefighting, doctoring, patient, warden, crafting, art, hauling, cleaning, and researching. Now, which one was it that wasn't interested? I remember reading there was one person who's incapable of intellectual or artistic. So Kevin. Incapable of intellectual or artistic. See how the button's not even available. And he can't do researching or art. Seems fine. I guess it's not that terrible. We should also create some tables so that they don't get those negative opinion modifiers for having eaten off the ground. I had to eat a meal off the ground. Can't we get a table around here? Indeed. Seems like a reasonable request. Let's build a long wooden table. And we'll build some wooden stools. And I don't believe that these actually need to be rotated. Maybe they do. We'll do something like that. We'll also get some lights in there eventually. Some standing lamps. And one last thing we need to do is get a solar power thing. So we can actually have some power to power these lamps. Okay, well, without going too much further into the game, I'm going to take a break here. If you like this video, if you like videos like this, and you want to see more RimWorld on the channel, do click the like button and maybe leave a comment. Things like that help out quite a bit for me with things like YouTube search results. So if you like it, help me out. And if not, well, thanks for checking the video out anyway. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you soon.